And now, Energy's Us Production presents Pittsburgh Poltergeiser Prattle. Today's topic, plasma frictions of heaven's return and action. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Oh, not as bad. A little short of breath, sweaty hands like crazy. So here we go. This is the name of the show. I'm Mox, nickname. Feel free to copy and share anything I teach or record. If you have any questions, see my past videos. They're all quite short. Please consider anything I teach, I don't author. It helps enhance the 100th monkey effect in our newly unified fields. Here are some platforms I'm currently on. And the days of solar storms have been brought to you by a group called Energy's Us. Rather than using lucid ferrous as in the Lucifer system, we use plasma light because plasma light tastes fake, less grilling. And back to today's title, Heaven's Return, Plasma Frictions. Galactic Plasmas Parallorbic Reglanding to Earth through a diminished magnetosphere in a much higher frequency. Parallorbic is parallel to the orb. And this affects iron and stone structures. It will soften metal through molecule electron elimination, like putting too many fish in a pond that has an inlet and an no outlet, and a clogged outlet. It will weaken rock and concrete with many inclusions. We mentioned that in the video Earth Mortis Obsolescence. And it will create fanatics, floods, and fires. And structure energy field compliance. That's to say that you need like the food you eat, you want compatible before you put it in your body. You want your structures compatible with the frequencies of the land, echoances, and so on. So it would have to be field compliant with that energy. Let's take, for example, the World Trade Center versus Trump's Tower. The World Trade Center, if you remember Dogcoms, the Dogcoms video, Dogcoms and You video, the World Trade Center is literally like the iron is on the outside like bark, whereas the Trump Towers are all smooth and look monoatomic, although they may not be. Point being that it's more conducive. It's a slick shaft rather than tree bark, so that plasma can travel freely without causing or collecting and causing molecule decomposition. And let's see, okay, Earth Mortis Obsolescence was the one you can reference, tree bark versus slick shaft. Another example is the earthquake at Golgotha I mentioned in the Dogcoms and You video. Oh, that's ruining stone, cracking stone as well, the earthquake. And to fix it, like say you may have been able to prevent the World Trade Center or whatever from collapsing, you could use velocital field braking. That is to say, there's a pole, plasma collects to it. You take the north end of your magnet, touch it to the pole, wait so many seconds, pull it off and put the other end on. And that should break or accelerate or at least affect the toroidal field velocity, so it'll let go of some of that plasma it's collected to avoid that molecular breakdown and friction. Fanatics, they became that way from spying and trespassing on people psionically, psychically they say. Channel the unwise ally. The Bible readers refer to it as taking on demons to get an advantage financially, etc. Plasma barometrics with high frequency, like someone squeezing on your head and screaming in your ear. It's compared to the unquenchable fire, but not as bad. Bone piezo inclusions, alterations within the piezo crystals in your skeletal structure that changes their radio frequency. That may make it hard to attenuate to the high frequency of the heaven plasmas as they regland to the Earth's surface. If they were involved in genocide, a perpetrator of genocide, their victims would just magnetically find them. We can go over that. You'll figure that out on your own. And some of them have self-compartmentalized to hide from public shame and guilt and a conscience. And sidling is an example of possession. They'd have 12 witches around a fire because you'd have 12. You have 12 and 12 on your DNA. I'll show you that in a moment. And mRNA, sidling your mRNA with a chemical or whatever they put in you, peptide or something like that, as versus, say, 12 witches around a fire. Floods and fires, stress magnets draw in water, as we mentioned at the crucifixion. Stress magnets draw and form dense plasma wads that destroy electrons. That's electron overwash. That's been mentioned several times. Trauma magnets pull pull in plasma and cause molecular composting to the point of ignition. And it can be similar to an H-bomb. I'll go over that right now. Let's go over the sidling, the example of witches around a fireplace. This would be your number 25, and you got 12 channels here, 12 channels there. And then they attach mRNA, or psionic energies, which I call magnetic resonant neural anarchy. And back to the H2O bomb, or the hydrogen bomb effect I mentioned, Lahaina, Hawaii, that started with friction, we shall say, in theory. And there was a great abundance of waterborne plasma available. Once that reaction started, it would have pulled all that in off the water and accelerated all the frequencies and everything. And then, because of the chaos of the electron fields, it would have broken the hydrogen and oxygen apart, and the oxygen would have fueled the hydrogen as it ignited, and then they recombine to form water, and then the same process happens over and over repeatedly until, of course, there's a flashover point, and it self-extinguishes. I think I spelled that wrong. In Los Angeles, the fires there supposedly were started, they mention it as the kazoo effect. Picture a comb with a piece of wax paper on it, vibrating as you hum across it to make a tune, like a Jewish harp or something, like a homemade Jewish harp. Sorry, I hope I didn't miss anything. That was upsetting. And, excuse me. I'd like to thank Stefan Burns of YouTube. He's a very good learner, assimilator. Excuse me. He's a very good learner and assimilator of data, and a great presenter, and just a great teacher. And he must have been a fine young lad to raise. And I'd like to thank Philippe Petit again. When you went up on the World Trade Center with that cable and crossed over, you ruined what I call plasma balls at the top. They had mechanical window washers at the very top, so humanoids' frequencies would not interfere with what had collected at the top of the World Trade Center towers. So we theorize, and you can go on this on your own because it's making me weepy. He's so brave, if it's for real, that he would have done that toroidal velocity braking I mentioned. Like, I'll go up to a metal pole, put the magnet, my pinball magnet on there. If it's hard to pull off, I'll wait a half a minute, pull it off, flip it over to the other southern pole or whatever, stick it back on, and repeat that until the magnet's easy to pull off the pole. So essentially, you could theorize he saved a lot of property damage. And those people flicking their lighters outside before the towers fell, they weren't terrorists in my judgment. They just knew what was going to happen. It had to touch down somewhere. I imagine the Trump president knew. And that's why his buildings are in such a fashion. Sorry to take so long on that. I got to rush now. And thanks to the authors, all the ones that have this come out of my mouth, and you all that help compile it and add information. That's you. All yins in the unified field. Yins is you in Pittsburgh East. Wendy Bell from Pittsburgh. I used your face in your live platform the other day to try to heal about 3 decades of viewers that had come upon you. I hope you're okay. You should be. And Lieutenant LT Smash of And We Know. He's on Rumble. I think he's got almost 500,000 viewers. And make sure you're prepared for the big holy shift we're about to have. A whole bunch love you. So do I. Bye.